Hello there, I'm Fritzy Gamer 7 and welcome back to another speed build here on the channel. So we are continuing on with the D&D mansion build, the build that eventually is going to be part of the little mini-series that's sort of like a reality show with my D&D characters that I have a creative sim going on. Should be linked down below if you haven't checked out the creative sim or if you haven't looked at it recently. There might be a few new characters that you've potentially missed, so you can check that out down in the description below. Also, if you haven't seen some of the previous parts, the link to the playlist for this series, the build series, is also down there so that you can actually go back and watch any of them that you've missed, or if you want a refresher on some of the bedrooms, because there's a lot of bedrooms. There's a lot of rooms in general, but there is a lot of bedrooms. But currently, we are getting to the end. I haven't fully finished editing some of the last bit of footage I have, but potentially this is the second to last video showing like the speed build process. I probably am going to make like a screenshots video or something to sort of show the full-on finished product. But as far as actually the whole building, decorating process, this is probably the second to last, but if not, if I have too much footage to fit into one final video after this, then it's definitely at least going to be the third to last. So we're getting to the end here. We are almost finished with this build, and as soon as this finishes, the mini-series should start shortly after. I still need to work on some prep work for it, but I've got most of the prep work done. I've even went around and tried to player test as much as this build as I can, because the build is done. It is 100% completely done at this point of this voiceover. And I had Nita going to some of the like as many of the toilets as possible, and sort of walking around the place. I'm sure there's going to be some things I've missed here and there, but we'll just see. Hopefully everything's fine. So far, everything that I tested worked out just fine, so we should be good. But anyway, right now, currently, we are decorating Muse's room. So Muse is my little, it's a homebrew breed. It's, I'm forgetting it right now. The Kitsune or something like that. The fox people. We're just gonna say fox people. She's a fox person. She has like foxy features, but also humanoid features. She is very much the dancing sort of type, so that's why I gave her a dance floor in her room. But she also likes a lot of these pastel-y colors, particularly more pink and purples, but she likes some of the other ones. So we have some of that going on, but we also sort of have like sort of a fun vibe for like dancing going on as well. So I had quite a bit of fun with this room, but I will say like these last few rooms I definitely put a little less stuff here and there, but partially going with the whole thing of like, you know, first come, first serve. I imagine, you know, people got to, it was randomly chosen or randomly decided through fate. Particularly, I rolled dice for all these characters to figure out who can pick the rooms first. But, like, in terms of, like, a reality show, you know, there was, I don't know, they could have used dice, too. We could say they used dice. So, got to pick rooms first. And also, probably, you know, those people who got to pick rooms first probably got to start bringing stuff in them first. So they had more time to decorate them, potentially. So, but at the same time, there's some of the rooms that I put a whole lot of stuff. Like Kalani's room has quite a bit of stuff in it. And she's in this video. She's the last room in this video. But yeah. So I guess it just sort of really depends. But with this one, I definitely at least wanted to have like a dance floor for Muse. And I didn't want, obviously, anything interfering with like that dance area. So she can dance to her heart's content if she's in her room. And technically, with how I'm going to be doing the mini-series, if you need a refresher on how that's going to go, each sim morning, I'm going to roll dice for all the characters, and now I probably won't have that included in the video because that would just be a really long time of the screen not moving and just hearing dice roll. But I will roll them and then give y'all the numbers that everyone got, and depending on what number they got, depends on what access they have to the house for that day. And if they roll a nat 1, they have to be stuck to in their bedroom forever. So I did want some stuff for them to be able to do, but I also didn't want it to be like everything that they could do, because, you know, it's supposed to be, they got a nat 1. They're not supposed to get all the nice options. So they have a few things here and there they can do, but not a whole lot. But who knows? I mean, with music, she'd probably be happy just to dance the whole entire day. But I also imagine she's sort of social also, so she might not be excited about not getting to, like, communicate with people, but yeah, she should be okay. Anyway. But yeah, putting in the little decorations in the rooms. I've been cutting out me moving these decorations from the hallway into the bedrooms. I don't think I've talked about it in the last so many videos, but there was some videos a while back that I would mention that I actually went through my decorations catalog and found stuff that I thought that they would use to decorate their room and set it outside of the hallway to save time in the recording, because I have so much clutter and decoration CC that it would have potentially extended the video for a really long time, or like it would have been a whole lot of editing, like extra editing. So I just went ahead and did that off screen, so like while I was editing other videos or like just had some downtime, I just plopped decorations into the hallway and it looked like some clutter chaosy mess. But I do cut out the part where I take them from the hallway and put them into the bedroom, just to save time and also not to see that jerky back and forth movement of me moving the screen back and forth. But yeah, anyway, she does have this like little couch thing in her room that's like on the floor. Now I'm not quite sure. Some of my CC that's like slightly different shaped or has a slightly altered function for it. Like it wouldn't necessarily work like, yeah, it looks like a stove, but it may not function like a full-on normal stove. Some of them actually come with like options like set with a slightly different animation, or like, you know, they make it to where it looks more natural for them to work with that. I don't know how that couch works. I don't know if they're actually going to sit low on it or if it's going to think they still need to be sitting in the air. So that might be interesting to see, but that's one of the things that I didn't have Nita like test out yet. So not really sure what it looks like when Sims try to sit on it, but I liked the idea of it being in the floor, and also like she's like a fox person, so you know, who knows, she probably sleeps on the floor sometimes. She's probably okay with it. You never know. But yeah, anyway, there's obviously a lot of pinks going on. I sort of played around with this little wall over here, trying to do something with it because I hate it. It just seemed plain, and I don't think she would personally have too many plain walls. So sort of was playing around with some wall decorations, trying to figure out what to do to sort of make this wall look interesting and make it not be sort of boring. And I found this little circle thing, and I decided I was going to put something in the middle of it, but I hadn't decided what. But eventually I was like, maybe let's try a mirror. Let's see what a mirror looks like in the middle of it. So ultimately I did put a mirror, and like it's near the dance floor, and obviously I put those really big like floor to ceiling or almost floor to ceiling length mirrors over on the other side. But you know, with dancing and stuff, you know, so you want to see your form every once in a while, and maybe, you know, she wants a mirror on that side too. So, but I thought it also just looked sort of a little neat and a little interesting and sort of fun. I do really like how her room turned out. Again, it's one of the rooms that necessarily is not my personal taste, but I like it. So, hopefully you do too. Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below for Muse's bedroom, and would that be a bedroom that you would like to stay in? Would you decorate your bedroom that way, or is it a little too much for you? Not the colors you like? Like, let me know. But anyway, we're now on to the next person's room, which is going to be Nyx. So Nyx is my D&D character that's very, very loosely based off of Flareon, because I did one for each of the evolutions plus Eevee, and they are loosely being the key term, based off of him. He is like a lot to do with fire, so obviously Flareon, fire type. And his room, one of the things that I struggled with his room is I did want more orange in his room, but like all of the oranges would like, either they didn't, once I actually put them in the room, I don't know if it's because of the lighting or what, like the little sample of it down in the like catalog looked like it was orange, but then when I would put it in the room, it didn't look like quite orange, or either it was like way too bright in your face orange, which I didn't see him having that type of orange. I see him more of a muted orange, but still being like, you can tell that it is an orange color. But yeah, so I was having problems putting as much orange in his room as I wanted. So you'll see that there isn't as much orange because like yeah, it was just like either it was like a weird shade of orange and I didn't like it, or like it had some like pattern on it that definitely was not Nick's. Like it was like flowers or something like that, and I was like, yeah, he wouldn't have that type of bedroom. But overall, there's sort of like a older style feel with like the brickwork here. I give him a fireplace also, just because again, fire. So a lot of that stuff sort of starts taking on that feel. I put like a chest in there at some point that he uses as like a table close to the fireplace, and it's just got more of like almost castle time vibes, sort of, but not exactly. But yeah, so every once in a while, like, you'll see me actually trying to go through the catalog, specifically looking at orange stuff, just to see what options I have and if it's something that I like. It's a few things that change here and there. I think that chair that's sitting at the desk, I eventually change because I'm like, no, I don't actually like that. Don't like it at all. But I also try to put some candles in here because, again, fire, flame. There is little, just to be a little funny, I think it comes from Jungle Adventure. If you go to the debug menu, I could be wrong. But it's like a little bottle of stuff that's supposed to put out a fire, or maybe it actually does the opposite. I don't know. Either way, if it causes a fire, cool. He likes fire. If it puts out a fire, then it's a little funny because it's like, you know, he likes fire, so he constantly has fire. But the more fire you have around, the more higher chance you might catch something that you don't want on fire. So you know, you gotta have precaution. You gotta have precautionary measures just in case. So yeah, but a lot of the little decorations and stuff I have in here is like just because it was variations of like orange or yellow or red, at least like, you know, the common fire colors, and maybe stuff that he's like collected traveling with the other members of his group, which is in my story is all the evolutions plus Eevee. I have like a whole story on how they all met each other and how they started joining. But I imagine every once in a while they break off every once in a while, like do their own thing and then meet back up somewhere later on eventually. But yeah, so you know, he has a little few knickknacks and stuff that like he gravitated and he just picked up, or some stuff that, you know, his sister thought that he might like. I gave him. So that's sort of what his trinkets are, because like I don't think necessarily he'd be big on decorating, but I don't think he would mind decorating, especially if it's stuff that people gifted to him. Like he would value that. So that's sort of what I was going with most of his decorations, but I did sort of want it to be like warm, cozy sort of feel in a way. Maybe with the bricks, it's not everyone's style, but also like something about with that fireplace, I wanted it to go somewhat with the fireplace that I was going to use. So that's partially why I went with the bricks, but I do like, definitely not one of my favorites overall when it comes to the rooms, but I do ultimately like how it turned out, and I just wish there was more orange here and there, but like none of the beds that had orange on it I liked for him. I couldn't even find like good blankets to give him, like to put on there. I gave him like this reddish one to at least put some fire color on there. But yeah, so slightly a little bit more of a struggle with his room, but I really think out of all of them, Pyrrha's room was probably the most struggle for me, like the one that I had the hardest time with, just because I was just constantly like, no, don't like this here, don't like this there, meh. So yeah, I don't think anyone was quite as a struggle as hers, but his, yeah, I wish there was more orange, but ultimately, I don't mind it. I think it comes together in the end. But now we're on to the last room of this build, which takes up a bigger chunk of the video than some of the other two in a way. I think Muse's was probably the second amount of time, and then Nyx's went by a little bit faster. But I have a lot of stuff actually to go in this room, and go with like sort of the theme. But this is Kilani's room, so this is my octopus lady. So yeah, that's why she's got like the octopus light here, and I give her like a shell bed, and there's a lot of water stuff. She actually already has an aquarium in there. I actually have fish in that aquarium already. I actually sent Nita fishing to get stuff for their aquariums, because there's aquarium in this room and there's also aquarium in Vaya's room. So I wanted to get fish to go in their rooms, and I wanted to get fish specifically more geared that looked like they picked them out or whatever, to have a little bit of their ocean life with them. So, like, Vaya's fish are more like blues and purples. Kalani's fish over here are some more darker colors and like a little bit slightly odd fish, except for like I think there's a beta in there. But I did get the vampire squid because that was like the closest octopus like thing that you can get in Sims and put in the aquariums. So yeah, she has like a little vampire squid swimming around in that aquarium. I thought it was cool. So yeah. I will say in the process of creating her room, I realized technically it happened in Nyx's room too, but I didn't think much of it because it only happened with one bed. So I was like, it's just that bed's messed up, that CC bed's messed up. But it started happening with multiple beds while I was working on Kalani's room here, and like this bed in particular, when I put it down the first time to look at it, and I was unsure about it and got rid of it, and then the second time I came back around to it, deciding I was going to actually give it a try, it just disappeared. It poofed. It took my money away and took the bed away also. So I didn't get a bed and they took my money. So I was like, what is happening here? And it started happening with multiple beds. Apparently that happened like an update or two ago that shows you how much that I use build mode or just got lucky while I was using build mode, because I was building in like this build off and on for a while now, and it hasn't done it to me until recently. So I guess I was just lucky for a while and it just wasn't affecting my game. But then all of a sudden it decided, it was like, yeah, no, we're finally affecting you. You're not allowed to have a bed. No, I take your money and your bed. You can't have either. So I had to actually leave the game, restart the game. Well, like go and do a batch fix from Sims 4 Studio and then restart the game. And then get back into building. But obviously I cut all that out, so you don't see all that. But yeah, there is a batch fix for that if you start having CC beds that do that, because some creators updated their beds, but not all of them did, I don't think. So if you come across some older CC and the beds start disappearing, just go to Sims 4 Studio and do a batch fix. Should work. Like, as soon as I came back, the bed just popped up and none of the beds started doing that ever again. So it should be good. Should be fine. Also, ever since I realized that, like, if you have CC in your game and mods and stuff, there's a little pop-up that will pop up at the beginning and, like, have a full list of all your CC and stuff in it. And I never realized that it would have affected anything. So I just let it be. It popped up every time I uploaded my game, and then I forgot how I learned. But someone I watched mentioned it, and it was like, if you check it to where it never shows up again, then your game will load faster. Because, like, if you get a whole lot of CC, your game starts taking longer and longer and longer and longer and longer to load, and I thought it was just because it had more CC. It's that pop-up. I have the most CC that I've ever had in my game now, and it only takes like 5-10 minutes for it to boot up. Now that I've got rid of that pop-up. So if you haven't made that pop-up stop popping up, do so if you have CC. Because eventually, the more CC you add, the slower it will get. Until finally, you will have to go do other things while you wait for Sims to load. I don't have to do that anymore, though. So, it's nice. It's nice. But anyway, let's go back on to the build here. Me and my rambling. So, with Kalani, she likes a lot of darker colors. So, I wanted to put a lot of darker blues and black in here to make this look, like, more dark. She's sort of, a mischievous character. And she sort of likes, like, this sort of dark, mysterious vibe and, like, creepy. She doesn't mind if people say that she's strange or weird or scary. She's like, that don't affect me. She's a little insane. It's fine. And she doesn't care. So, but yeah, so I had a lot more darker tones. I do add a few things that are, like, white here and there just to have it pop. So, like, she has, like, a little white table eventually you'll see over here that makes it sort of pop away from the wall and the floor. And I put some light blue chairs. Like, not everything is dark, because she does like some of those lighter colors. But She prefers the darker colors with a little bit of lighter colors so that those few things, like, they pop, they sort of stand out. So yeah, that's what I sort of did with hers. And I think, like, the aquarium also is giving, like, an interesting glow to with this, like, whole wallpaper flooring thing that she's got going on. And I don't know how long I've had this flooring or this wallpaper. I don't think I've had them too long, but I've never used them. And it's a wallpaper I really, really like, but in some ways I don't see myself using it too often. But I thought it looked really cool here because it just was like an interesting design that I think maybe she would like. But it also gives sort of that dark, deep, oceany color. Obviously, those are like flowers or something like that you would not find in the ocean. But, it gives those darker, oceany color vibes, sort of. And that's what I was wanting to go for somewhat. But as you can see, I do have a lot of decoration items for her. I actually ended up getting rid of some of them because I couldn't find anywhere to put them to make sense. But yeah, she's got a lot of oceany sort of decorations. He even gave her like a beach ball or whatever. But she's also got some of these like mysterious tome books because she has like wild magic. She likes the crazy magic, so she's got some of those mysterious tomes that who knows what's written in them. Probably something dangerous because that's just how she rolls. But yeah, so some of the stuff I do get rid of, and some of the stuff I'm like, where do I put this? So I just start stuffing stuff in a lot of places. I did make her room a little bit smaller, which you've probably seen a little bit earlier on, just because I realized her room was a pretty big size for her being one of the last people to get to pick a room. So I did shrink it a little bit just to make it not so big and make it seem like people just overlook this room, which realistically, with how big this house and mansion is, people looking for rooms could have overlooked rooms. It's easy. It could have been a situation where a lot of people were going to room after room, being like, I don't like the shape of this room. Someone's already took this room. Oh, someone's already took this room. This room's small. It may have eventually got to a point where they stopped looking at some rooms. Or they because they were just, like, tired and exhausted moving through this ginormous mansion. Like, this thing was huge. I'm very intrigued to see at the end. I haven't looked at it actually yet myself, even though the build is 100% fully completed. I actually haven't looked how much this lot is worth, but I definitely want to see how much it's worth at the end because it is so huge. There's so much stuff in it, and I actually use the tool mod by Twisted Maxi to put some stuff in the backyard that's technically not part of the lot, but obviously technically it should still be considered with the lot. It's just I use the tool mod to move it off the full lot, so it should still count with money wise with this house. So there's some big stuff out there like a roller skating ring and things like that. But anyway, the video is getting ready to end, so hopefully you've enjoyed seeing these particular bedrooms. I hope you like Kalani's, Nyx's, and Muse's rooms. Let me know out of the three which is your favorite, and then overall which is your favorite so far. We are getting to the end, so for the most part you've seen over half of the bedrooms, and you've seen most of the build in general. But anyway, thank you so much for watching. Make sure you like, subscribe, all that lovely YouTube goodiness, and I'll hopefully see you in the next one. Till then, bye-bye!